Hi friends! I'm bringing this topic to you today because I feel like I have spent my whole life waiting for something. Waiting for the perfect job, waiting for my mental health to get better. As a teenager, waiting for someone to sweep me off my feet. Just waiting for life to happen to me. And unfortunately, this idea was reinforced by being a part of the, I guess, manifestation community, because it's very frequently put out there in this community, the idea that if you only were thinking the right way, or hard enough, or not hard enough, or you're believing too much, then the things would come to you. There's always this feeling of inadequacy, that you're never doing it right, and you also struggle to find guidance about how you're supposed to do it. So unfortunately, I went along with that for a long time, and have recently come to the conclusion that you have to be an active participant in your life. Nothing's gonna just come to you by you sitting on your butt. I'm glad that that happens to other people, and that's great. I hope it continues to work for them, but I think for most of us that's not the case. So I'd like to give basically two examples of waiting for things in hopes that it will open up something in you and show you what this idea is like and why it doesn't work. So I'm hoping that you can also share with me, why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Is there ever going to be a scenario where the perfect conditions exist and you'll have no reason that you shouldn't wait? Probably not is going to be the answer. And no one says this more powerfully than one of my favorite mentors, Bree Seeley. She's the author of Permission to Leap. And she says frequently that if you keep waiting for your dream to come to life, you're going to be waiting a really long time. So check her out if you're wanting more information on that. She is amazing. Okay, my first example is from back now 2.5 years ago, when my husband and I, excuse me, were living in our hometown of the beautiful Delta, Colorado. This was a place that I had grown up in my entire life. My parents moved there when I was an infant, so I didn't know anything else besides this town. My husband had lived there since his childhood as well. So we ended up there after college because he had gotten a job at one of the coal mines, and he was making the money. So I ended up following him back there, and I was deep in the throes of my depression during the time we lived there, but at the same time really seeking for self-development. I found an awesome church/organization called Centers for Spiritual Living that helped me a lot there. But I was always waiting for something to happen, always hoping that something would bring me out of my life. And I believe I even wrote about this in one of my blogs. I think I said something like, I keep hoping that the hand of God is just going to come down and rip me out of my life and take me to something better. So we also had this idea that we weren't going to be there for long. So we never fully decorated the house or felt settled. And we spent this time just thinking, we're going to move. Well, we stayed there for, I believe it was 5 years. That whole time, me waiting to move on, waiting for something to happen, thinking that once we move, that's when my life will start. And guess what? That didn't happen. When we moved to, this is my second example. when we moved here to Utah. My daughter was 3 weeks old, and I had a tough birth. She was in the hospital for a week under the lights for her high bilirubin levels, and I was going through hell. When we got here, we didn't have any family members here, no friends. I didn't know anybody. I stayed at home, not knowing a soul while my husband worked, and it was a period of immense struggle for me, to the point where I was considering checking myself into a hospital. Again, this was a time in my life where I just kept waiting for something to happen, waiting to feel better, hoping that something magical would happen. And that's not to say that I didn't do anything. Again, in Delta, I had found the church. I've been working on my self-development forever. Reading books, trying different techniques, going to things. Here I went to a therapist that specialized in postpartum depression. Eventually I found a nurse practitioner that greatly helped me. But again, I developed that thought pattern that I was waiting for something, because we moved from a rental to buying a house. We weren't happy with where we were living. We're in the city, and decided to move again out of the city. And I found myself recently, a couple weeks ago, waiting to move. We've started building our new house, and I keep excusing all of the things that I want to do. And I'll say, well, when we get into the new place, then we'll keep everything clean. When we get to the new place, I'll have my own meditation room, so it'll be much easier for me to meditate. And I really came to this moment where I realized it was never going to happen if I kept putting it off. If I can't do it here, why would I change it in another place if I'm not willing to modify the habit now? A really powerful example of this I got from one of my dear friends from college. We're not really in contact anymore, but still love her. She had gone to Australia for study abroad and had some similar issues I did. Really struggled with depression, anxiety, some mental health issues. And I don't remember exactly what she said to me, but it was something like, you know, when I got over there, I realized I couldn't run far enough from my problems. And I had a similar experience doing study abroad for myself in Italy, where I was blackout drunk at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I let men take advantage of me. I just let go of all of who I was. And that statement she said would hit me and hit me and hit me. And here I was in this beautiful country having these adventures, and I was still depressed. I was still cutting my arms as a 21-year-old. I can't remember how old I was. And I will never in my life forget that statement. You cannot run far enough from your problems. And this is a mantra, or this has turned into a mantra for me when I'm feeling stuck, when I'm feeling like I'm waiting, when I'm feeling like once this happens, then that will happen. I remind myself, if I can't be happy with who I am right now, in the environment I'm in right now, when will it ever happen? Again, tell me what you guys think and some examples you've had where you just keep waiting for something that you might be waiting for your whole life. I hope this has helped as usual, and I will see you next time.